Here's the top we'll be making today. I've actually used two different yarns. When choosing between these yarns, the comfy fingering has more of a flowy and soft fit, whereas the Cotlin is a little more stiff. You're going to start with 2 square motifs for the armbands. If you don't want to do the armbands, you can skip that. And you'll also want to follow the triangle motif pattern, but you will stop after the row of popcorn stitches. First thing we're going to do after our row of popcorn stitches is we're going to chain 1, turn, and single crochet into the first stitch. And then we're going to skip this first chain space here. We're going to chain 5 and work into the next chain space. And we're going to do that all the way around. Chain 5, single crochet into the chain space. We'll finish this row by chaining 5 and single crocheting into the third chain at the beginning of the previous row. To begin the next row, we'll chain 4 and turn, and then we're going to double crochet 3 into each chain space. Finish this row by chaining 1 and double crochet into the single crochet stitch. Next round, chain 2 to bring up the yarn and double crochet into the first stitch, double crochet into the chain space, and now we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then double crochet 2 into the third double crochet. So 1, 2, and then we'll double crochet 2 into the next stitch. Again, double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and double crochet 2 into the next. And to finish up this round, I'll double crochet into this final chain space and then double crochet into the third chain. All right, and here we go. This is the back side. And we're going to go ahead and make the cups, and then we'll come back to this part. To make the cup, we're going to start with a slip stitch on the hook and 9 chains. Next thing we're going to do is double crochet into the third chain from the hook. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 5 chains. Then to the last chain, we're going to double crochet 3. And now into the bottom of these 6 foundation chains, we're just going to double crochet 6 across. So round 2, we'll chain 2, turn, double crochet into the next 7 stitches until we get up to the very center stitch at the top here. Into this top center stitch, we're going to double crochet 5. And then we're going to double crochet into the remaining 7 stitches. Next round will be the same as the last, except we'll have 9 stitches to work into before we get to the double crochet 5 at the top. So chain 2 to turn, double crochet in the next 9 stitches. Double crochet 5 into the top and into the next 9 double crochet stitches. So far we have 3 rounds. We're going to create 2 more rounds the same way. Chain 2 to bring up the yarn, turn. This time we'll have 11 stitches going up, double crochet 5, 11 stitches coming down. Then on the next row, we'll have 13 coming up, double crochet 5, and 13 down. When it's time for row 6, we will meet back up. All right, so now I'm going to want my cup to start curving in more. So for the 6th row, I'm going to still double crochet up as we did before, but in this top stitch, I'm only going to double crochet 3, and then I'm going to work down instead of 5, so it'll start curving more. If you're making a bigger size, you may still want to do 1 or 2 rows with the 5 stitches at the top. Just depends on if you hold it up to you, if you feel like you're ready for the cup to start curving more, or if you feel like you can use a little more room. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll chain 2, and I'll turn. I'm going to double crochet in 15, double crochet 3 at the top, and then down 15. I'm going to go all the way up to row 9 that same way, going up to the top, double crochet 3 and down. I just completed my 9th row. I double crocheted up 18, 3 in the middle, and 18 down is the stitch count I left off at. If you are making a larger size, keep adding rows as you need, the same way with 3 at the top. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and add our final row right now with just a chain 2, turn, and double crochet in each stitch around, not increasing at the top this time. Now that my final round is complete, I'm just going to single crochet along this edge here. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to put 2 single crochet stitches per row. Now that I've gone along the edge, I'm going to chain 1 and just slip into that first double crochet stitch. Then we're ready to go ahead and fasten off and get your second cup completed. The next thing we're going to do is lay our cups above the motif where we want them to fall, and we're going to begin building up this triangular section. I want my stitches to start about here, so I had counted and it was about the center 11 stitches to fill up this space for me. I'm going to go ahead and count from the center, so I'll be beginning here. I'm going to add a chain 2, and then I'm actually going to start by double crocheting these first 2 stitches together. 1, 2. So that's 2 of my 11 center stitches. I'll keep working. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then when I have 2 stitches left, I will double crochet those together. So this would be 10 and 11. Hold it up to see. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, and I'm going to double crochet again the first 2 stitches together. I'm going to go all the way until 2 remain, and I'll double crochet those together as well. Here you can see how it's coming along. Again, I'm going to chain 2, turn, do the same thing, double crochet 2 together, go across and double crochet 2 together. I have it laid down. I'm only going to do 3 rows because I do want a small gap. I'm going to go ahead and get fastened off here. So now, still keeping it lined up how you want, can move it over, and you'll be able to figure out kind of where you'll want, where this last stitch lines up before it starts having a gap. So I'm going to count this one here, even though it's very close, the one that's kind of close in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 19, 20, 21. So I'm going to remember 21 stitches. I'm going to start on each side. Add a chain 2 back to pick up where we left off. So 1, 2. All right, now I'm going to double crochet across until I get to the last 2, and I'll double crochet those together. So I'm doing 21, working into 21 stitches in total. So 1, 2, 3, all right, 19, and now 20 and 21, I'm going to double crochet together. Now you're going to lay your cup back. Make sure you're getting the curvature right. So right here I can see that I'll probably be able to just keep going straight. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn and double crochet in each stitch across. So I've gotten to the end of this row. I'm going to chain 2 and just work my way back to the other side, double crocheting in each stitch across, and then I will hold the cup up and assess what the next step will be. So here, when I hold it up, if I hold the cup so that it was full, I can see that it's going to start curving. So this time I'm going to add 2 double crochet stitches into the first stitch to start building up along this curve, and then I'll just go to the very end. So I'm going to chain 2, double crochet in this first stitch, and you might want to keep track of what you're doing because you will want to repeat this same process on the other side. And now I'm just going to double crochet all the way to the end of this row. Continuing on, we're going to chain 2 and double crochet in each stitch back up towards where the cup is. All right, getting closer. Again, I'm going to increase on this first stitch and go all the way across. So chain 2, double crochet 2 in this first stitch to follow the curvature of the cup, and then I'll double crochet across. And again, I'm going to chain 2 and double crochet in every stitch across. So holding it up, I can see just going across, there's still a bit of a gap. So I'm going to add another stitch. Hold it up to check. And once it gets to where the cup is going to be pretty much straight up and down, like this, you're going to bend it. So right now, I mean, it doesn't look like it is, but you have to imagine it's going to curve up like that. As soon as you get to about this area of the cup, you're going to want to go ahead and fasten off, and you'll repeat this same process on the other side, following the exact same numbers. Now that I've completed both sides, on the right side of the work, we need to add an edge going all along the top of the work here. So I'm going to do that in single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet 2 stitches per each of these double crochet rows until I get to this final double crochet row here. Gone all down the double crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet in each of these stitches across the motif, working up towards here, where again we'll do 2 single crochet stitches per double crochet row. Once I'm at the top here, I will chain 2 to form a corner and then work into each stitch across the top. Again, at this corner, I will chain 2 and begin working down the side, across the single crochet, over to this corner. Now that we've gone all the way across, we can go ahead and fasten off on this edge and continue by adding in the cups. So what we're going to do is making sure the row of single crochet is on the top edge. We're going to lay it so right side is facing up, right side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over like this. And we're going to start stitching from this inner side here. So I'm going to turn it over. And remember, there's this little overlap. So starting a couple stitches in, I'm going to pull it through these outside V's. And I'm going to start slipping through to connect. So I'll get that on to attach, and then you can see if I open it up, you can see there are a couple stitches here. This is the wrong side of the work. I'm just showing you. I left a couple stitches. Fold it, right sides are facing in. And we're just gonna slip through these outer V stitches to attach. Through this outer and through this outer. Keep going until you've gone through each of these stitches on the body. There will be stitches left over on this cup at the end. Slipped all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off, and we can take a peek at how it's going. There we go. So now you're going to do the same thing on the other side, attaching the other cup. Beginning up here, leave a couple stitches the same amount, and then we will meet back up. Both cups attached. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is start building up the outer edge more. So I'm gonna turn the work, begin by adding a double crochet stitch all the way across each of these and keep going all the way up to here. So first I'll work to here, and then we can do the cup together. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into this border area and start going across. Just kind of figure out where the stitches look the best. I've finished this whole row. You can see I left the border free at the top of the cup. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, turn, and I'm just going to keep double crocheting back and forth, adding rows until I feel like this part can reach around my body enough to start lacing up the back. I ended up with 6 rows going along the edge. I'm going to add another row now to lace up the back. So I'm going to chain 4, and I'm going to skip this first double crochet and work into the next one. And all the way across, I will chain 1, skip a double crochet, and double crochet into the next. This will just leave us with many options for how to lace it up when we're done. So I've gone up, and if you don't have the right amount of stitches, you can just double crochet 2 at the top or at the bottom. Now I'm going to fasten off, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side over here. I've completed this side, so now both are symmetrical. We're going to go ahead and make a border around the whole perimeter. So I'm starting again at this bottom corner, and we're going to work in single crochet. Make sure you're on the right side of the work. So I'm going to chain 1, single crochet into the double crochet, and then single crochet into the chain space all the way up this back edge. In this final chain space, I'm going to single crochet chain 2, and single crochet 2. Now we're going to keep going along this top edge here, 2 single crochet stitches per row. Now that we've gotten up to the cup, I'm just going to slip into that single crochet stitch. So I'm going to chain 4, and I'll popcorn 5 stitches, skip 1 into the next stitch. Next thing we're going to do, once we complete the popcorn, we're going to chain 3, skip a stitch, and popcorn into the next stitch. Once we reach the end of the cup, I have an extra stitch left over, so I won't be able to just keep it going every other, but I'm going to go ahead, chain 3, and I'm just going to skip both of these 2 and do a double crochet into this stitch here. And then I'm going to get these 2 cups connected, so I'm going to double crochet into that first stitch on this side. And now I'll continue. I want to keep it looking symmetrical, so I'm going to skip 2 stitches instead of 1, but then I'll continue my pattern of popcorn, chain 3, skip a stitch across the edge of this cup. So I went all the way across the second cup, I chained 4 and slipped into the stitch at the beginning of the border, and then just continued working along the top edge. Now here in this chain space here, I'm going to, the same way we did on the other side, single crochet 2, chain 2, and then 1 in the top, 1 in the next stitch. We're going to go all the way along this side. And finally, to finish off, we're going to go along the bottom edge, chain 2 in the corner, single crochet 2 into the chain space, and then we're just going to go all the way across the edge, and we'll end with a chain 2 and a slip into our first single crochet stitch at the beginning of the round. Now that we've completed our border, I made a very long chain. I only did 1 chain. If you want to, you can go ahead and go back over and double crochet in each stitch across. And what I'm going to do is just weave this through the back, and I'm only going to pick 4 points to weave it through. To finish up this top, we're going to find the center, or if there's a different spot, if you hold it up, just wherever you would like the strap to begin. And I'm just going to add a chain of approximately 70. Now I'm going to double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, and in each chain all the way back towards the cup. Now we're going to finish off the strap by doing a slip stitch into that chain space, and we'll go ahead and fasten off and repeat on the other side. Now that we've got our straps added on, we're going to start with our sleeves. So you should have 2 square motifs already created. Now what you're going to want to do is make sure it fits around your arm when it's folded in half. So if you need it to get longer, only add rows off of this side, and you could also go 1 off each if you like, but you really only have to go elongating it 1 way. Once it's long enough to fit around your arm, you're going to fold it in half and you're going to connect it in the round. So since I did not add any more rows, I'll begin by working into the chain space, and I'll just slip those together. And then the same way we attach the cups, as I go across, I'm only going to slip through the outer edge of the V's. outside and outside, slip through both, and make sure that the inside, the right side, is facing in. So you should be looking at it inside out as you slip across. Once you've connected in the round, you can go ahead and turn it right side out. And an optional reassurance for keeping it up on your arm is you can use some of this elastic cord here. Lay the cord across, and I'm just going to single crochet, working around that cord. I'm also working around my tail, as you can see. Once you get all the way around, you can just slip into the stitch at the beginning of the round. You can see the elastics inside, and I'm just going to tie it off with a knot. Then you can weave in these ends and conceal them through this top edge. Thanks so much for making with me today. If you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe, as it genuinely helps support me. Remember to share your work and tag me at Mermaidcat Designs.